Hello everyone, and Happy New Year. If you're joining us in January, it's a time for new beginnings, and this thought brought to my mind tales of the original beginning, the creation, everything and everyone. And so today, I bring you the Old Norse interpretation of how we came to be. I am Ryan, and this is Finding Folklore, the bi-weekly podcast that brings you all that is myth, legend, and folklore from Scotland and abroad. Before the beginning, there was nothing. No earth above or heavens below. No sky with stars or sea with salt. Only the mist world, formless and shapeless, and the fire world, always ablaze. To the north was Niflheim, a world of darkness, ice, and mist. Here, 11 poisonous rivers cut through the mist, each springing from the same well at the centre of it all. Niflheim was colder than cold. To the south was Muspel, a world of fire. Everything there glowed and burned. Muspel was light, where Niflheim was dark. Molten lava, where Mistworld was frozen. There was no earth or sky, nothing but sparks and heat and molten rock and burning embers. At the edge of Muspel, where the mist met the flame and turned into light, where the land ends, stood Sutra, who long existed before the giants or the gods. He stood there then, and he stands there now, waiting patiently for Ragnarok, when he will finally leave his station and march across the worlds with his flaming sword to burn it all to the ground, and the gods will fall one by one before his feet. Between Muspel and Niflheim was void, an empty, formless place called Ginnungagap. And for years, hundreds or thousands or more, no one knows, Ginnungagap slowly formed into endless glaciers. To the north, where the glaciers met Niflheim, the peaks were covered in frozen fog, and pellets of hail rained. To the south, where the ice met Muspel, the ice melted and turned into streams, and the air above became as gentle as a comfortable spring day. In the melting waters, life appeared. The likeness of a person, larger than any giant who had ever walked the 9 realms, neither male nor female. This creature was the ancestor of all giants and was called Ymir. The second creature to find life in the waters was Uthumla, a giant cow, and she licked the salty ice, and in return her milk flowed like rivers and kept Ymir nourished. Then one day, Uthumla licked a being from within the ice. On the first day a head appeared, and then a full man emerged. This was Buri, the ancestor of all the gods. Ymir slept, and while it slept it gave birth. A male and female giant were born from Ymir's armpit, and a 6-headed giant was born from its leg. From these, children of Ymir, all giants are now descended. Buri took a wife from these giants, and they had a son whom they called Bor. Bor married Bestla, daughter of giants, and together they had 3 sons, Odin, Vili, and Vi. The 3 sons grew into manhood in Ginnungagap, and knew that to leave meant certain death. To the north, death by cold, and south was death by fire. So they knew they had to fill Ginnungagap with life. And so the three brothers discussed what they wanted to do. They decided on what they wanted to create and came up with a means to do it. And so they committed the first murder and killed Ymir, the death that was necessary for all to exist. They stabbed Ymir, and the blood, so salty and grey that gushed from him, created the seas and the oceans and the rivers, and it swept away all the giants, except for Belgamir and his wife, from whom all giants that live today are now descended. Odin, Vili, and Vi made soil from Ymir's flesh and mountains from his bones. They ground his teeth to make sand and pebbles, and tossed his brains into the sky to form clouds. Even today, we can see the clouds change shape as Ymir thinks new thoughts. The world is a flat disk and the sea encircles the perimeter. Giants live at the edges of the world, beside the deepest seas. And to keep the giants at bay, the three brothers weave together Ymir's eyelashes into a wall and set it around the middle of the world. They called all that was within the wall Midgard. Midgard was empty, but for the beautiful land they had created. But they knew they had to fill it with life, and so they took 2 floating logs, one of ash and one of elm. Odin breathed life into each of the logs. Vili gave them intelligence and will, and Vi carved them into the shape of people. The gods named the male Ask and the woman Embla, after the wood they were carved from. Ask and Embla stayed in Midgard, safe behind the wall the gods had made. Here they made their homes and raised their families. All people living today come from Ask and Embla. That is why Odin is the All-Father, because he was father of the gods and because he breathed life into our grandparents, grandparents, grandparents. This is why the giants and the gods still feud today and will find themselves opposed to one another when Ragnarok comes. And that is how all was created. And that is the end of our story today. So please let me know in the comments your thoughts on this creation tale. Is it one you are familiar with, and how do you think it compares to other tales of similar nature? If you've made it to the end of this episode, please drop the episode a like, and for more like this, you can subscribe for new content every couple of weeks. Until then, may the devil walk behind you. Bye for now.